Hi, Lex Luthor. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Uncrimey. So I think I'm going to start with the dad's, I think her text messages with the dad. I want to go through those again. There are not very many there. I want to go to go through quickly the ones with Christine, because I think I have read them really early on before we went through the ones with Dom. And now, since we've done the ones with Dom, I think there's more of we can see where they're like, I think we're going to be able to see different things in them. I do. I think that. Okay, so let me see where we are now. So. Where was supplemental reports, witnesses. Oh, I think we've got to go to that other one. See, this is Kathleen. I've got like it's so many different things here. Okay, let me go over here and pull. To go to G because the text messages are in G. And Shirilla. And the rest are in my other drive. Okay. Okay, here's a text with Dad. Messages. Okay, let's make these larger. Dad and Mackenzie. So this is from Doodly-Doo. It looks like Dad. No, this is Mackenzie. Are you up? Is Mom up? I can stay till 2:30. Dad, can you make me warm milk? Sorry, just seeing this. You still want milk. Now this is from January 4th of 2020. Then she says, can you answer? Can you make me warm Nikki milk? He says, okay. Then she says, thanks. When you come in, be quiet. He says, worst hamburger ever. And puts a picture of a hamburger there. She says, ew. He says, one of the kids wasn't eating it, so I asked why. He said they're terrible, so I tried one, and he was correct, and then some. She says, WTF is that? Seed, she says. He says, you be careful. Watch what you drink and smoke. Call me first if there is a problem so I can come help. This is 2/15 of 2020. So she was 15 years old. Okay, XOXO. He says, you are not to spend any night at the boys' house ever. This will never happen again. Are we clear? She says, when are you going to be home? He said, any idea when you'll be done? I'm picking you up. Soon. Come now, she says. K, he says. She says, hurry. 2, I'm in pain. This is February 2020. Here, he says, out front. Hey, call my cell when you're done, okay? Not house phone. Okay, she says with a question mark. Then she says, can you rub my feet? That's odd. That's really odd. Then this was 3/22/2020. This is 3/23/2020. So I don't remember these. I do love you, and I did not say anything about Dom when you were leaving with Mom. Please let them help you at the hospital. Then he says, come home, please. I love you. Your choice. When are coming home? You're not going to be in trouble or get punished. Just come home. 6:30. K. Will you make me warm milk? He said, I just saw this. Do you still want? No. Sorry, my phone was dead. Dad, can I please sleep over Dom's tonight? I won't ask for a while. I just want a night with friends. This is 5/3/2020. 2 years and a couple of months before the crash. She says, please let me tonight. It will make me really happy. Please, Dad. I just want a night away from home. No. Sorry. Don't argue about it. It's a no. Please let me, Dad. Kenzie, I'm not doing this with you. Sorry. The answer is no. Please just accept my wishes and do what your mother and I say. Please don't turn this into anything that causes me to come and get you now, okay? I don't remember these before. Then she says, can you get me spray paint? Blue, hot pink, and purple. Like right now, please. Can you make me warm milk? Can you make me milk? K, he says. Can you do it now? Can you make me milk? Text me when it's done. I'll come back. Why would you leave? It's done, he says. She says, I wanted to spray paint. I'm with people now. He says, when I tell you to wait, wait, thanks. Can you make me hot cocoa? Sorry, just saw this. Can you bring tanning oil? I forgot it. How far? And then she said it. Can you make me more stencils, but out of cardboard? Please let Mom buy it. Then this is 7/4/2020. Be careful tonight and don't roll your eyes and say, OMG, I'll know. Okay, she says. Have fun. Love you. Love you too. Everything going okay? Yes. Oh gosh, let me make sure that I'm live. I've done that before. Where's your live? Oh no. No. Okay, this is one? No. Where are we? Okay, here we are. Okay, you guys can hear me and everything? Good, I guess you can. So She says, did you fix the pic? Oh, remember, because he's really good with, he's in graphic arts, and she said he fixed all the pics, right? Yeah, I'm with you, Kathleen. I don't like the hot milk. I need you to fix it ASAP. I'm trying to post it. Did you send it to me, he says? Have not seen it. She said, I sent it to Mom. Hold on, she's looking. She's 15, yes, Lex Luthor, at this time, asking to sleep over at Boy's house. I think she's actually, wait a minute. She's 15 turning 16. Yeah, 16 turning, yeah, she's 15. She's good. This is July 30th. So her birthday is August 2nd. So she's going to be 16 in a couple of days here. But when she was asking back in March, she was still like 15. Now it's 7:30 of 2020, and she's about to be 16 any day. Hold on, she's looking. There, she says, make those lighter. Okay, she wants those pictures lighter. Tomorrow, promise. Don't you have a sticker printer? Kind of, he says. Thanks, Dad. Love you. Can you make me these? What is it that she wants? Trying to see what it is. They can see what it is. Yes, he says, I can make anything. She says, I want those skeleton legs on a pair of my pants. Dad, now it's October 27th, 2020. Can you make me milk? Sorry, I was already asleep when you sent this. Milk? Question marks. Okay, or not. You want weed peanut butter. She's asking him if he wants weed peanut butter. No, LOL, I don't like to eat my weed. I'm going to give you a little. Are you making me milk? Dad? Dad? Are you home? Why? Are you okay? Get Mom this. From Glass House. He says, tell Mom not to look. She said, I don't have any money. She said, they close at 6. He said, get it from Mom. She says, I have no money. Get it. Dad? Question marks. He said, you have 10 minutes to get home or I will call the police myself. This is December 29th of 2020. She says, I'm finishing up at a nail appointment. I'll be home soon. He said, I would leave now. How disrespectful you are. I told you you were not allowed to drive. You will not be driving at all. Okay, I don't remember these. I remember there were very few posts with the dad, and they were mostly about him keeping the car dirty. I don't remember these. See what I mean? Then he says, I will come get you or any of your friends. No questions asked. Please don't drive around tonight. Be careful. This is New Year's Eve. Tell the boy the same. Love ya. She says, okay, love you too. He said, tell us you are all right as soon as you see this. That is New Year's 1/1/2021, 11:18 a.m. She says, we up at Dom's. Happy birthday, Dad. Love you. 2/13/2021. Thanks, baby, he says. She says, will you make me warm milk, please? Are you home? Can you please try to book me a massage sooner than 7? I have a birthday party that I have to leave for at like 6. Mom is telling me to book it when, first of all, I never even talk to adults and I have no money and don't drive. And she says, are you okay? He says, yes, I'm okay. Feel like I have a cold. Okay, to be honest, you need weed, she says. I'm worried. He says, LOL, no. Don't be worried. I actually feel good. Just irritated that I got it and have to quarantine for 10 days. She says, yeah, that's gay AF. COVID, some BS. You shouldn't have taken the test. Kendra has hella tests. Then she says, hi, Dad. I hope you're feeling okay today and hope your test goes well. Nice picture, he says. She says, Cammy misses you. Of course he does. He's my dog. Do you have any Hershey bars? I do. Don't have one. Want to give one? The food is here, she says. Thanks. She says, want me to bring up? No, I'll be down, he says. Could Dom move his car so I can get out? Thanks. Come get his keys. Never mind. Thanks. Then she says, you're getting me from school, right? He says, yes. What time? She says, 2:25 is when school's out. Ask Mom when to leave. Because I think she means traffic is usually bad. He said, I'm here. Second row, left of the doors. Music will be blasting, LOL. She says, LOL, okay. She says, send a pic. If your view. He says, I'm next to an orange SUV. Find the orange SUV. She says, Dom will drive me tomorrow to Polaris. I have a ride home from Polaris. Kay, he says. She says, bring my iPad when you get me. He says, where is it? In my room, she says. I'm coming, her dad says. I'm here. Do I need to sign you out? She says, okay, I'll come. Give me 5. Where are you parked? He says, thanks, baby. I had fun today with you. She says, oh, or was fun. I'm always down to eat. He says, picking you up 10. I'll text you when I get there. Then he says, I'm here. She says, milk is cold, AF. Then she says, I'm going to drink it, but it's not warm. He says, bring it down. She says, can you go in my room and see if I have any mannequin heads in there? Because mine is missing. Okay, he says, there are 2 white foam heads with wigs on them. That's all I see. Do I need to pick you up? Yeah, she says. He says, I hear in about the same spot as the other day. She says, okay. She says, is high voltage open? He says, yes, they're open till 9. It's $22 per race. She says, can you make me more milk, please? He says, okay. He says, I'll be by to pick you up at 10:30, okay? You're at Dom's? Please confirm you got my text. Ken's? Okay. Coming. Are you here? Not yet. 5 minutes. Here, he says. I said, I'm here, he says. Ken's. She says, okay. Then he says, let's go. You knew I was coming. He said, if any trouble arises, call this number. It's my friend Jimmy. He lives in Toledo. She says, okay, good. I will. He says, be safe and smart, please. Love you. She says, we are at the hotel. It's at their Florida trip, I believe. She says, we're not doing shite. It's boring, so I think it'll be fine. See, this is where I mean we can see more because we know, like, oh, that's when they went to Florida. Like, you know more about it. It's just different. Sorry, I worry, he said, a lot. Don't go anywhere alone. She says, LMAO, we won't. He says, don't laugh. I'm not going to sleep well tonight. And he says, hey, it's Mom's birthday Wednesday. We're going to Buka for dinner to find out what she wants for her birthday. Find out what she wants for her birthday, or if you have any ideas, let me know. Okay, I will, Kenzie says. Mom told me she wants a really nice week for her birthday. Then she says wig. One that's going to look extremely natural. Like she's not even wearing one. She wants one in her color. We need to find one ASAP. He says, we'll talk when you get home, okay? She says, are you on the way? He says, I'm waiting on Danny. Then we're on the way. And she says, you could have just went to Columbus. I don't know why Mom made it seem like shampoo and conditioner was more important than shelves for my room. My gosh. Sorry. This is April 2nd, 2021. I really need the shelves. It's okay, he said. You're my pumpkin. She says, I know. I just don't want the shelves to be sold out. I really need them. I guess those are the shelves she put her sneakers on. Hi, Pauline. Hi, Four Fireflies. Hi, Alyssa. Jen Grill. Lisa Demron. Hot Mess. Everybody that came in. Lex Luthor. Hi, everybody. Okay. He says, Kay. Then he says, hey, sorry to wake you, but Don's got to move his car so I can go to work now. Ken's. Then he says again, hey, sorry to wake you, but Don's got to move his car so I can go to work now. That's a different day. That's 3 days later. Okay, she says. Then she says, do you know your glasses are there? He says, wakey, wakey. Dom needs to move his car. Ken's, wakey, wakey. Look, every time. Dom needs to move his car. Wow. 421. Wakey, wakey, Dom needs to move his car. Ken's. Again, wakey, wakey, Dom needs to move his car. Now. Wow. Okay. I have to leave. Wow, wakey, wakey, Dom needs to move his car. Ken's. Okay. She says, do you know where we can get cones? Mom doesn't want to help. I've been trying to practice maneuverability and nobody is helping. Like my test is tomorrow. He says, are the cones up at the high school? She says, no, some effing idiot moved them. So now there's no cones there. He says, call the school, go to the office and ask about the cones. Maybe they put them out after school ends. She says, there's not even school today, but I'm going to call them. I'm going to call them. For some reason, I don't remember any of this. He says, maybe the cones are off to the side and just not in the lot. She says, somebody just bring them there. The school does not own them. I just called. He says, okay, you can wait for me when I get out of school, 4 p.m.ish, or try Home Depot or Lowe's and see if they have them. Or just use a parking space without cones. Have Dom or someone stand like the one cone at the top and maneuver around them. Or just wait for me. She says, Mom just called the school, and they said they're going to see if they have cones. Then she says, okay, now she's getting mad. This is 4/21. This is 5/4/2021. Ever effing put that on my car again? Never. Now I'm going to be late to school because I had to turn around and go take that shite off. LOL, he says. She says, it's seriously not funny, like I will seriously flip the F out. He says, don't talk to me like that. LOL. She says, I'm going to talk to you however I want until that bumper sticker stops showing up on my car. No, LOL, he says. She says, because now I'm late. Somewhere that my hours matter. Okay, then call Polaris and get my hours back. He said, you didn't need to come all the way back. LOL, he said, that's your fault. LOL. Blocked, she said. He said, thanks for the laugh. LOL, giggle. She says, what candle scents does Mom like? Can you try to get a picture from this video? I can't see it, he says. Am I unblocked? Sorry you didn't have a good time last night. Really, no matter what, Kens, I love you. 6/15/2021. And only want the best for you. She says, can I go to Crocker Park, please? Lobster Bisque. Never park my car there again. Why? He says. Okay, why? She says, Happy Father's Day. He says, thanks, baby. He says, would you do me a favor tonight? Please? I won't ground you next time you piss me off. Really? She says, what? Never mind, he says. Your mother really loves me, but you missed out on a grounding pass. Your windows are down, she says. Food? Question mark. They had that at the mall, remember? No, when, she says. You don't remember? The radio-controlled cars and track, he says. She says, turn your down. Tell me when you're home. KK, how long, she says. On my way, few minutes. In driveway. Hey, he says. Hey, she says, okay. Coming. Where did you put that vodka? This is 8/6/2021. He says, on the counter where I showed it to you. Oh. She says, he says, TSA sucks. I have a big pair of scissors, a toolkit, my butane lighter, and they missed it. Sorry for Mom. LOL, she says. I wish, she says. Oh, there's those stoned 1, stoned 2 shirts. I'm going to get these for you and Dom. I'm going to get you and Dom these. OMG, she says. Yes. Really? He says. What size is Dom? She says it's funny. Larger. You'd like it here, but you need to be 21 to have all the fun, he says. Which one? There's been at least 3. He says. She says, tell Mom to answer my text right now. Right now. Do it. Question mark, exclamations. Are you just not going to help? He says, sorry. Not getting involved. I'm just going to get mad. She says, thanks for making this the worst birthday I've ever had. Worst birthday she's ever had. That was 8/12/2021. That was her last birthday before the crash. The next birthday would be after the crash. She said, he says, please answer the phone. I'm not going to yell. He says, you need to work with us, and going to the West Coast is out of the question. We do not have the time or the money to get there. We would get there, then have to turn around and leave. She says there's a lot more places in between that we could go to. I'm never going to forget this. She's never going to forget this. He said, then come up with some. She says, New Orleans, Nevada, Mississippi, question mark, question marks. I just came up with some. Now what? But she puts no what. Are we ducked? There's Hot Wheel grab bags at this garage sale. Never drive my car again without putting gas in it. Like, what the F? This is 8/25/2021. Then she says, how are you going to drive someone's car? They're not put a single set of gas in it when it's literally below the line. It was not below the line when I gave you my car. He says, first, I took your car to get serviced, which I paid for, and had to waste an hour of my time waiting for it, and cleaned some of the inside because the person that drives is a slob and doesn't keep it clean. Then when I returned your car to the driveway, I noticed the gas was on empty. So I left you a note. I told you that when you came home, and told your mother to tell you that when you came home, told you when you came home and told your mother to tell you. So be more respectful and responsible. You owe me $74 for the service and $25 for the hour I had to sit there wasting my time for my disrespectful daughter. She says, I am inside. We are leaving. Get corn and watermelon. Can you come get us? I'm here. So am I, he says. She says, F that biatch in the red car. I lost my happy face paint. If you find one, it's mine. He says it's on the key rack. Dom has to move his car. Dom has to move his car. Dom has to move his car. Ken's now. She says, where you at? She says, calamari, extra lemon, no sauce on the calamari if there's sauce. Lobster bisque and the side of bread they gave. She says, I work at 6 o'clock and I need to leave by 5:30. Okay, he says. She says, what time will you be back? Question mark. He says, I'm there now, waiting for it to come out. Bet, she says. What does bet mean? She says, good. He sends her a picture giving her the finger. With love. On my way home, traffic sucks. Shows her a picture of the traffic. She says, okay, yay. You need to fix this. What is it? It looks like. I don't know. Okay, he says. How are you feeling? Not okay, she says. Sorry, baby. We'll figure it out. Let's just try and be patient with us, okay? We're attempting to help. We love you. I love you. Let us help. She said, I need your help spray painting this head. I also need top coat so it's not sticky. Are you home? He says. Yes. The paint is literally sticky. I touched by the ear and it's sticky. Just like I told you it would be. So what are we going to spray on top of it so not make it sticky? He says, all paint will be that way. Wait till I get home. She said, why did you tell me it wasn't going to be sticky then? We'll figure it out. Don't panic. She says, it's literally sticky. You better fix what you ruined, or I will fail Polaris. So, he says. She says, are you trying to say you're slow? He said, I'm saying when you speak to me with disrespect, I don't care if you fail. She says, Ellen, let me know when it's fixed. Question mark. Do you need to use a music DAW? She says, good to know. To never ask you to do anything again. You just effed up my whole morning. How about you tell people your plan instead of just effing not going? On the way home from work, can you get the stuff I used for the neck of my project? Can you please go get us White Claws or some shite from the gas station? Or Mike's. Something like that. He says, I am in bed. I have to get up early and it's Sunday. She said, can you bring us some, please? We need some. Even the ones in the garage fridge. Then come get it, he said. She said, there are people here. OMG, he said, Mom will drop it off in a bit. Bet, he says. As in better? Thanks. Bet as in goof. K. Dom has to move his car. Do you still want the bisque? No, she says. K. On the way home, get brownie mix. I won't be home until 6:30ish. She says, when will you go to Presty's? Please. What is Presty's? He says. He says around 6:30 to 7ish. He says, I have to be at school till 6. She said, it's a bakery in Little Italy. He says, why am I going there? To get brownie mix? She says, no. Just get me those little balls with sprinkles. Just send a pic when you're there. They are so good. And kalachichis. Aren't those Polish? I think. Raspberry ones. Please. He says, find out when they close. I'm at least a half hour away from there. He says, I don't have school tomorrow. Can I get them tomorrow? 9:00, she says. He says, if I can't get to the bakery, can I get them tomorrow, just in case I run late at school? She says, you're going to make it. LOL, he says. But if I can't, it is tomorrow, okay? I have to stay till something p.m. They just told me I will try and make it if Mom is going, or you will have to get brownie mix. She says, why won't you be able to? You don't have to get brownie mix if you get the Presties. He says, Mom is getting the mix. I will rush to the bakery. She says, you will like it too. Get the little circle ones and the ones that are like wrapped up. Just text me when you're there. He says, I'm there. FaceTime me. And then he shows the picture. She says, yes. Both. And they are and ice balls. Aniseed. And these little balls with sprinkles. I think they're called biscottis. No, they're not called biscottis. You are killing me, Smalls, he says. LOL, she says. Yes, she says. Would you give me a rosewood? What is a rosewood? Never mind, she says. Can you get me Popeyes? Popeyes. Where is a Popeyes close to us? And what do you want? She says, could you get me 2 biscuits and a large mashed potatoes? That's it. Do you want gravy on the mash? Gravy or no gravy? Gravy, she says. Thank you. No. Get 3 biscuits. You should probably, here she says, you should probably retake your driving test. This is November 15th, 2021. If you can't tell that you literally hit the effing bench with my car. Hashtag worst driver. Hashtag retake your test today. He says, you mean the car I had to move because the person who parked it failed to leave me room? And don't you mean my car that I pay for is the car that you're talking about? Watch how you speak to me or you won't have that car. Learn how to drive, she says. Hashtag arse. Then she says, worst driver of the year. He says, how many weeks do you want not having a car? Where are you? You drove like arse. Nice speeding ticket, hot rod. She said, did you hear I got searched? And there were 5 cop cars. But a small or medium... He says, buy a small or medium plain pizza or extra cheese. She says, stop being loud AF. What? He says. She says, I can hear you all the way up here. He says, stop being so oversensitive AF. I'm not being loud. She says, that's not oversensitive. I'm trying to sleep and you're stomping around blowing your nose 79 times. Stop being a woman hater, she says. He says, stop being disrespectful to your father. She says, no need to call me names because I'm trying to sleep. I'm not. I just asked you to be quiet. And wakey, wakey, Dom has to move his car. I can't get out. Dom has to move it now. Oh, my goodness. Not in 10 minutes, he says, please. She says, I told him, can you please get me Starbucks? Please. He says, what do you want? I have to go out. It might be a bit. Small or medium iced white mocha, sweet cream foam, and extra caramel, and a chocolate croissant. How long, Dad? What is that? warmed croissant. WTF. Why would you not get my food first? Like, question marks. I would go if I didn't feel like shite. I'll let you know when I get there. Please relax, he says. She says, like, WTF, I told Dom no, because you thought you would actually go. Unreliable AF. He says, I was on my way out. On my way back, I will stop. I will. Stop making me stop what I'm doing. WTF, she says. Maybe next time, just let me know you're going to take 5 hours. And I'll just have Dom do it. But because he's actually going to get it. Like, do I have to have Mom go? OMG. Where are you? WTF. Like, please, never tell me you can do something if this is how it's going to be. OMG. She says, yeah, I'm never asking you to do anything for me again. Why can't you do this right? I swear, if I don't get a chocolate croissant before they're sold out, I'm going to flip out. And he says, what do you want? I'm there. I'm here. She said, I texted you and Danny what I want. Read. What do you want? He says. She says, medium or small, iced white mocha with sweet cream, cold foam, extra caramel drizzle, and a warmed up chocolate croissant. Wow, it only took you 2 hours. One more comment and I'm gone. Just hurry. For real, it's already late AF. Then she says, I shouldn't even be drinking coffee this late, but I guess I have to. He says, OMG, 6 p.m. She says, I go to bed in 2 hours. He says, then what is the problem? She says, you're taking 2 hours to get my drink. More like 1 hour and 20 minutes dealing with your texts. She says, next time you can go if you don't want to do with my text. Dumb AF. He said, did you just call me dumb? She said, 'cause the shite storm is coming for you. I'd go hide, she says. He says, are you threatening me for no reason when I'm sick with COVID? So loving. Let's see. She asked for 3 Tivana Youthberry white tea, 45 sachets, total Best Buy, discontinued rare. She's sending stuff. For Mom, for Christmas, by ASAP. It's 12:23. He says, it's not going to be here by Christmas. I don't care. I'll just get her my gift. I'll just let her know. No, I'll just tell her my gift isn't coming until next month. She will like it. I don't care. He says, you should care. She says, buy it. She says, Mom always has stuff for me after Christmas. Sometimes delivery takes longer. Just buy it. They are in pain and Mom will not do a good job. That's not. She says, can we use your professional camera? We won't break it. Can we use the camera today? Can you rub my feet? The streets are really icy. Be careful. Please be extra careful. Driving is icy. It's 1:14. She says, I know. I'm at Dom's. She says, if you take that car out. Okay, this is 2/3/2022. This is months before the crash. February, right? March, April, May. If you take that car out, I will call the police and tell them you stole it. If you ain't not driving, baby, period, as you might as well just go back inside. Okay, just go back inside. She says, I'll just show them this, LMFAO. He says, K. He says, you're 17 and I'm your father. And I told you not to take that car. Whose side do you think they're going to side with? February 3rd, 2022. And he says, so when you go back inside, hand me the keys. She says, LOL, where is the soil that you plant stuff in? Where is the big bag of it? He says, I don't know, maybe in the garage. Ask Mom. She says she's being dumb as F. That's why I'm asking you. Where in the garage? He says, baby, I don't know. If I had to guess, it's probably buried somewhere or by some at Petitti's. Let me see here. Petitti's, yeah. And she says, when are you going to be back? Because my plant is going to die. 4-ish, he says. I got soil. You don't need to buy it. Can you please take a picture of my mom's prom dress? Sure, he says. Never mind. Mom did. When will you be home? Can you please take a pic of my prom dress? He says 20 minutes or so. She says, bet. She says, where are you? He says, in a minute. She says, are you on the way back? He says, they're calling you. Did you see? She says. The Steelers quarterback died. He got hit by a car. And the father says he is like the third string. She says, I don't know what that is. He says, the backup quarterback to the backup. She says, we need a tire. Are you close? Thank you, Dad. He says, no problem. You're my baby. I love you. Be safe. She says, I love you. We will. We're on the way now. On the way. That's 4/19/2022. Make good choices, he says. Have fun. Love you. Are you close to town hall? She says. Person says no. Person says, the father says, I'm sorry. I say person says, oh my gosh. He says, the father says, why? She says, never mind. Then she says, do you want to try deer jerky? Dom's dad made it. It's kind of weird, but good. He said, sure. He says, see how awesome I am? LOL, thanks for helping. She says we should try to get her and fight for her. This is May 14th of 2022, just a couple of months before the crash. We should try to get her and fight for her. She can literally be in Danny's room. What is she getting and fighting for her? An adopted kid or something? He says Scholar's mom got emergency custody of her until they can go to court. Is that bad? No good, he said. She said, you are never driving my effing car again. This is May 19th, 2022. Literally 2 months before the crash. Disgusting. Don't effing eat fast food in my car and then leave the trash in my car. Disgusting. And maybe try putting it back the way it was when you left. Don't take my steering wheel off of if you're not going to put it back on. She says you're done. He says, first, our car that we pay for. Secondly, don't you speak to me like this. Sorry, it was just a bag. OMG, grow up. He says, third, I'll drive that car when and whenever I want. She says, if you can find the keys. And you will not be driving my car anymore. She says, you can ask my permission before, though, and then maybe you can. But I'm just letting you know, disrespectful. He says, again, my car that you use. She says, if you want to be treated with respect, how about you give it to other people? I am not one for what? Oh, venison. You're talking about venison. Kathleen says deer jerky is good. Ditto. Then she says, have fun in your closet when you get home. Your trash is in there. He says, if I was you, I'd think twice before you piss me off, and then you won't have a car, period. So text me again with your BS and see. Think twice. You're skating on thin ice. Think twice. She said, I tell you 1,000,000 times not to not disrespect my car and take my steering wheel off and leave trash, especially eating fast food in my car, but you never listen. I'm just telling you that you're disrespectful. And he says, when you start making car payments and insurance payments, until then you can keep your disrespectful tone and words by yourself. He says, we on the way. On the way. He says, I'm here. She says, we will be in Heron in 7 minutes. Where's parking? 5 minutes. Be careful. Have fun. Thank you. Love. But not too much fun. LOL. He says, yes, the school knows nothing has been done. Just talk. This is 5/21/2022. What do I say? She says. He says, tell her not to worry about it and relax. She puts an Instagram. He says, why? She says, it's a vape Hot Wheel. Then he says, I don't have an Instagram. Send me a picture. She says, Oh, I don't know why it's making you log in. He says, I don't know. And then there's a picture she's sending him. He says, how much is it? She says it's $50 for the Hot Wheel, $150 for the shirts. And then, let's see, there she's giving him something organic to buy. Too much, but they look cool, he says. Thanks. And let's see, what is she saying? She's sending more stuff through that he can buy, right? For her. Trying to see what that is. Are you at Dom's? No, she says. Take them home. I'll pick them up. Thank you. And let's see, he says, K. She says, I needed them. Okay, how many did you get? Wow, I'm still asleep. 6. Thank you. Here, she says, can we go? Ken, happy Father's Day. Thanks, he says. Tell, I know. This is 6/26/2022, like a month before the crash. He says, maybe open both windows, Cheech. She says, we did. He says, hey, did my friends give you a $20 bill by chance? War is that, she says. Mom said to send this to you. It's a heat press. I have one. She says, I don't know what that does. For shirts, he says, making cricket t-shirts. For applying the image to the shirt. Okay, that's right up before the crash, 7/16/2022. Did they make up? That's the father and daughter, Bink. That's the father and daughter. Hi, Just Pepper. Hi, Darla Darling. Hi, Petunia. My father would have done something like remove the battery, the ignition coil, and the starter so that I couldn't drive it if I was going to treat him like that. Darla said, can you please try to say whose message it is when you think of it? Yeah, Darla, it was the father and Kenzie, and I think I was trying to say it. This is all father and Kenzie. Hi, Alicia. Okay, that's the father and Kenzie. Ooh. Okay, give me a second because I've got to... a lot of reading there. Okay, let's see what else we got. That's not the one I'm looking at. That's not the one. That's the one. Okay, here's the other thing. Notes on Dad's text messages. Okay, so here's their notes that they took on the text messages. Let's take a look at these, okay? Just Pepper said, Dad's calling her Cheech because of all the weed she smokes in the car. Ah, Cheech, okay. Because that's also something like a Cheech. It's her parents' own fault. The hateful one is always, hi, Uncrimey. Hi, little lady. How are you? Haven't seen you in a long time. How are you doing? Okay, so these are the notes on the dad's text. 2/15/2020, page 8. Mr. Shrilla's texts Mackenzie and tells her to be careful when she drinks and smokes. And if there's a problem, he can come help. It says 2/15/2020, Mackenzie responds to Dad with, okay, XOXO. Then they say on 11/28/2020, Mackenzie asks her dad if he wants weed peanut butter. Mr. Shirilla tells Mackenzie Shirilla, no, LOL, I don't like to eat my weed. Mackenzie responds that she is going to give him a little. Mackenzie asks her dad if he's okay. This is 3/3/21. Mr. Shirilla texts Mackenzie that he's okay and he feels like he has a cold. Mackenzie says, okay, to be honest, you need weed, and that she is worried. Mr. Shirilla says not to be worried, that he feels okay. 5/4/2021. Mackenzie yells at her dad for putting something on her vehicle and does so in an aggressive manner, which causes dad to tell Mackenzie not to talk to him like that. Mackenzie repeats that she will talk to him however she wants until bumper stickers stop showing up on her vehicle. Carolyn, do you mind moving the microphone a little closer? Okay, let me see something. Okay, I'll put it a little closer. Let me just see if it's... Hold on. Something here. Is this better? Is this better? Let me see if somebody lowered my mic again. Hold on a minute. Sometimes in Zoom, somebody lowers my mic. Let me see if that's what they did. Sometimes they do that to me. These people over here in the production department, they do that sometimes. Let me see. Oh, look at that. Look, did you see how low my mic was? Oh my gosh, now it's probably much, much better, right? Somebody, what are they doing? Don't automatically adjust my microphone. Why are you doing that? Leave my microphone there. Why? See, look what it's doing. Don't automatically adjust my microphone. I want it all the way up at the top. Get up there. See, why is it doing that? It shouldn't be doing that. It should let me adjust my microphone how I want it. Don't adjust I want to manually adjust it. Leave it. Okay, is it much better now? Let me know if it's better. Hi, Abuelita. Okay, good. Sorry about that. Let's put it back up here. Where did we go? I don't know what's going on tonight. I can't find my thing now. Where did it go, guys? All right, let's see. Where did it go, Joe? That's super weird. I'll just open it again. Okay. All right, so hopefully that's better. Now let's see. And let me put you over here so I can see if you have any issues. If you're going to have some issues. Much better? Very good. Okay, good. I haven't heard the father speak to her on jail calls, only the mother who acts like she's 16. Yeah, they don't like the mother. What's going on, Bink? Now Mink's got to say it's gone down. Stop. The mother doesn't want the father to speak because he says things and he gets angry, and the mother thinks she can better control the stuff. Okay? Now let's see. It says it's good AF, good. All right, let's see where we were. Mackenzie says, I don't like to, okay, we got that. Mackenzie says, that the cold, right? She told him he needed weed. And then 3/3/2021, Mr. Shirilla says not to be worried, that he feels okay. Then on 5/4/2021, Mackenzie yells at her dad for putting something on her vehicle. does so in an aggressive manner which causes Dad to tell Mackenzie not to talk to him like that. Mackenzie responds that she will talk to him however she wants until bumper stickers stop showing up on her vehicle. Then 8/6/2021, Mackenzie asked her dad where he put that vodka, to which Mr. Shirilla responds, "On the counter where I showed it to you." 8/9/2021, Mr. Shirilla sends Mackenzie a photograph of 2 t-shirts that read Stoned 1 and the other shirt reads Stoned 2. And then he tells Mackenzie that he's going to get her and Dom these shirts. Mackenzie gets excited and tells him yes. And Mr. Shirilla then tells Mackenzie that she would like it there, except that you need to be 21 to have all the fun. 8/12/2021, Mackenzie tells her dad to have her mom answer her text right now. When Mr. Shirilla ignores Mackenzie, she asks him if he's really going to not help, to which Mr. Shirilla says, "Sorry, not getting involved. I'm just going to get mad." Mackenzie responds with, "Thanks for making this the worst birthday ever." 8/25/2021, Mackenzie tells her dad, "Never drive my car without putting gas in it, like what the F." Mackenzie then continues to yell at him for not putting gas in the car through several text messages. Mr. Shirilla responds by saying, "First, I took your car to get service, which I paid for, and cleaned the inside of the car." He tells her that he left a note and told her mother to mention that he forgot. He then tells her that she owes him $74 for the service and $25 for the hour he had to sit and wait and waste his time for his disrespectful daughter. Then 10/21/2021, Mackenzie yells at her dad through a series of text messages about a school project which he was helping her with. Mackenzie is mad. The paint is sticky and demands that he come home and fix it. After Mr. Shirilla tells Mackenzie that they will fix it and to relax, she tells him, "You better fix what you ruined or I will fail out of Polaris." Mr. Shirilla responds with, "So," after which Mackenzie says, "Are you trying to say you're slow?" Mr. Shirilla says that he is saying that when she speaks to him with disrespect, he doesn't care if she fails. Mackenzie says it's good to know that she can never ask him to do anything again and that he effed up her whole morning. Okay, and then 10/31/2021, Mackenzie asked her dad to get them White Claws shite from the gas station or Mike's Hard Lemonade. Mr. Shirilla says that he's in bed, has to get up early, and it's a Sunday. When Mackenzie asks, "Can you bring us some?" Even the ones in the fridge, Mr. Shirilla tells her to come get them. Mr. Shirilla then tells Mackenzie that her mom will drop them off in a bit. 11/15/2021, Mackenzie tells her father that he should retake his driving test because he literally hit a bench with her car. Mr. Shirilla reminds Mackenzie that he had to move her car because it was parked bad. He also reminds her that it's the car he pays for. And Mackenzie tells him to learn to drive and calls him an arse. Mr. Shirilla asks Mackenzie how many weeks would she not like to have her car for. On 11/17/2021, Mr. Shirilla tells Mackenzie that she drives like an arse and says nice speeding ticket, hot rod. Mackenzie tells him that she got searched and that there were 5 cop cars. 12/22/2021, Mackenzie asked for Starbucks. Mr. Shirilla ran errands before getting the drink and food. Mackenzie yells at him over several text messages and calls him dumb. 2/3/2022, Mr. Shirilla tells Mackenzie that if she takes the car, he will call the police and tell them that she stole it and that she is not driving today, so go back inside. Mackenzie tells her dad she will show the police the text message, to which he responds, "You're 17 and I am your father, and I told you not to take the car. Whose side do you think they're going to side with?" On 5/19/2022, Mackenzie tells her dad not to effing eat fast food in her car and then leave trash in her car, to try and put the car back the way he found it. She then says, "You're done." Mr. Shirilla tells her it's the car he pays for and to not speak to him like this. He says that he will drive the car wherever and whenever he wants. Mackenzie says she will hide the keys and that he needs her permission. He reminds her it's his car, to which she states that if he wants to be treated with respect, how about you give respect? Mackenzie then tells him to have fun in his closet when he gets home because his garbage is there. Dad tells Mackenzie to think twice before pissing him off, or she won't have any car. Okay. I just pepper. Mackenzie's aunt works for a law office. I'm super glad Dom's mom is an attorney. The volume is fine until I turn my head to read, and then it gets lower. Oh, boy. Oh, hi, Hully Gully. Hully Gully Island. Okay. So that's those there. Now let's see what else. I don't know, why am I feeling so tired? I almost fell asleep reading the text, and I don't know why I said person. Oh my gosh, I think I was falling asleep. Okay. I haven't, hold on, someone said something. I'd hide her bedroom. Zero discipline, says Just Pepper. Exactly, Janie. Hi, Janie McGee. Disrespectful stone daughter. Oh, hold on, I'm stretching out my back. Little Lighty said her parents should have been arrested for stupidity. Oh, little lady, we had somebody from Washington up on panel. Criminy, little ladies from your state, little ladies from your home state. The Washingtonians in the house. What are they? What are you, Washingtonian? Psycho Goblin, Petunia says. Yeah. Psycho Goblins. Okay, let's see. Oh my gosh, let me just stretch my back a little bit. Okay. I've been organizing craft stuff all day, and then I was crafting. Sorry you missed. I know. A lot of you did. Okay. Hi, South Carolina in the house. Liza Ann. Hi, Liza. What part of South Carolina? Are you in the low country? Hit me up if you're in the low country. If you're in the high country, I can't help you. You're late, girl. You're late, girl, but not that late. Don't worry about it. You've been doing a ton of reading, Carolyn. We appreciate you so very much. I know, Just Pepper. Then I get so sleepy sometimes. That's why I've got to stop and talk and not read. Are you in the low country? Are you, Liza Ann, in the low country? Get out of town. Are you really? Hey, Liza Ann. Oh, where are we? Amy's Justice League. You missed our craft night. And you missed this. Washingtonian. Yeah, Washingtonian. I can't. It's too late. I I feel like those are tongue twisters. Can't do it. Oh, you're not in the Low Country. Okay. You're not in the Low Country. All right, I'm going to look in a minute. Talking to you guys like this helps my eyes not feel like they're going to explode. Okay, so let me see what else we got over here. Okay, so we did those. Now we have let's go over her text with what do we got over here? Attachments, what's that? Oh, this, okay, let's see what she sent me. Huh. Notes, okay, let's look at there. Let's look at these with Christine Russo. Mama Russo. Okay. Hi, it's... All right. Abuelita. Thank you, sweetheart. Cup of chai tea. Beautiful Carolyn. Thank you so much, Abuelita. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. So, okay, she says, hi, it's Kenzie. This is Kenzie talking. How do I get to the nail place again? And Christine Russo says, Pearl left on 303, right in Manhattan at Valero gas station. It's real close to 303. Her building is the first one on the right. And this is 4/2/2020. This is 2 years plus before the accident, right? Thanks, SM. Thanks so much. Miss Russo says, good luck. Be specific on the length and shape. Kenzie says, I will. Thanks. Miss Russo says, is everyone safe? This was 4th of July, 2020. She says, yes, we're all just hanging right now. Then she says, we didn't do any fireworks yet. Mrs. Russo says, okay, just checking in, babe. What's up? Kenzie says, we all just ate some food. She's about to call you. Ms. Russo says, okay. Then she said, Ms. Russo says, Bunny's doing good. We can probably let him go tomorrow. Kenzie says, oh, that's really good. I'll be over to feed him around 8. And then Miss Russo said, okay. He started jumping around in bed, so I put him in the cage, but I slept with him until almost 5. This is, you look at that, that's 7/31/2020, exactly 2 years before the crash. Then she says, call me when you get here. That's Ms. Russo. Okay, let's see now. Then Kenzie says, I will. Kenzie says, does Nico need to be fed right now? Ms. Russo said, did he eat this AM? Kenzie says, I don't think he did yet, but I just left your house because Dom was mad. She said, dang, I do not get great reception. And then she said, sorry, I think Dom's up right now. He can probably feed the dog. Then Ms. Russo says, happy birthday. She says, thanks, Jug. Kenzie says, thank you. Mama says, where's Dom? She said, he slept over my house last night. He's all good. And Kenzie says, hi, Mrs. Russo. What kind of lawyer are you? You know, I thought we read these. I don't remember that. I think maybe we just read the notes and we didn't read the text. I have to go back and look. she says, I do all, because remember when you listened to the interview, we weren't sure, like way back when, they're like, was she a lawyer? I'm like, I don't think so, but now we would have seen it right here. I'd have to go back. It's amazing how I forget things and we go over them. I do a lot of things. Why? She asks. Okay, so Kenzie said, I went to the dentist and apparently I pulled out the anesthesia needle when I was asleep. And then when I got up, they told me they weren't going to do the procedure anymore, but my mom already paid like $1,000 for that. But I was trying to leave, and the last grabbed my wrist so hard. What the last? It was all bruised. I got a ton of videos of the bruising, but while I was crying because I didn't know what was going on, the assistant dentist was recording me and my family. Wants to press charge. Hold on. Was recording me and my family wants to press charges. Hold on. I went to the dentist and apparently I pulled out the anesthesia needle while I was asleep. And then when I got up, they told me they weren't going to do the procedure anymore. That sounds crazy, right? She pulled out the anesthesia needle when she was asleep. And so they waited for her to wake up and then said, we're not going to do the procedure. It's weird. But my mom already paid like $1,000 for that. But I was trying to leave. And the last grabbed my wrist so hard it was all bruised, and I got a ton of videos of the bruising. But while I was crying because I didn't know what was going on, the assistant dentist was recording me, and my family wants to press charges. And Ms. Russo said, I've been on the road. Give me a minute to read your text. Where's the dentist at? She asks. Elira. Then Ms. Russo said, I would definitely file criminal charges, but you have to go to the police. Or do they have to sue? Kenzie says, what do you think would be the better thing to do? Ms. Russo said, well, I don't know why your mom wasn't in there with you since you're a minor. They grabbed you, which is assault. I can demand their money back. Also, they shouldn't have left you alone to pull the anesthesia out. Kenzie says, they said my mom couldn't stay in the room while they did the procedure, and I just want to get these people in trouble for what they did to me. I'm in a lot of pain right now. Okay, then Ms. Russo said, I'm not sure what the cops would do. Do you have the video? Kenzie? No, Ms. Russo says, why did they record you? Kenzie says, they said they deleted the video, but there's still the iCloud and recently deleted. And then Kenzie says, the assistant was recording me because I told them I'm going to sue them, but that was after she grabbed my wrists. Ms. Russo said, okay, I see you guys should have went right to the police while you were out there. I don't know other than that. I have to think more. Okay, more is your pain in your wrists. She says the right side a little, but not the left. She said, well, go to the doctor and say they both hurt you. You need medical bills to sue. She says, my mom just called Elira police, and I'll tell her that. And Kenzie said, hi, Mrs. Russo. If you're home, can you please wake up Dom? He's supposed to drive me to school, and he's just not answering. This is 9/22/2020. And then she says, I'm getting really worried. He's not going to answer me. Never mind. Got him up. And Miss Russo says, just let shite go for now. Lay low, please. It will be all right. She says, we are here. They're still cleaning up the table, though. Is everyone okay? Kenzie asks. As soon as you find out more, can you come over? Thanks for letting me talk to him. Of course, Miss Russo says. And then Kenzie says, do you know his bail now? Now, she says. And Kenzie says, what do we have to do to get him out tonight? I don't know, Miss Russo said. She said, Dom's trying to call me, Kenzie says. Kenzie says, it's not letting me listen to the email. Mama Russo says, me neither. Kenzie says, how do I call? Kenzie says, any news about Dom? Look at that. That's October 10th. That's 5 years ago. Mrs. Russo says, I had to decline the call because I was putting money on the phone, hoping it calls back soon. Kenzie says, you think we'll get him today? Miss Russo says, I don't know. Kenzie says, if he calls you again, can you tell him to call me? Miss Russo said, I just talked to him and he said he'd call later. I'm doing a few things here and then I'm going up there. And then Miss Russo says, any word from Rich Kyle? Let me text him, Kenzie says. Miss Russo says, okay, cool. Kenzie said, how's Dom? Are you there now? Miss Russo said, waiting to get in. Kenzie said, okay. When you're in, let me know. She says, Miss Russo says, okay. Then Miss Russo says, you can come tomorrow between 1 and 2. And Kenzie says, OMG, so I get an hour with him? I'm so happy I can visit. She tells, call the jail. If you can come today if you can come today at 1 today. If not, tell them tomorrow for sure. She says, do I just ask if I can visit Dom Russo? Mama Russo says yes. Kenzie says, okay. Can I call right now? Yes, says Christine Russo. Kenzie says, just called. I'm going tomorrow at 1. Mama Russo says, why not today? Kenzie says, she said I can't today. She needs a 24-hour notice. I don't know why. She was kind of rude, Kenzie says. Okay, Christine Russo says. She says, it's freezing in here, FYI. Kenzie says, I'm a dress for the cold then. Then she says, Kenzie says, that's knowing they wouldn't give him another blanket. Christine Russo says, what's Rich Kyle's number? What's Jared's number? The mother asks. That's his. I think she means never mind. I don't know what that she's saying. Kenzie's saying. And then Christine says, Lodi Jared, right? Yes, Kenzie says. It's Dom doing better, Kenzie asks. Much, says Christine. Okay, good. That makes me feel better. How's Dom? If Dom calls you, tell him to call me. Ms. Russo says, okay, you're on the phone now. Did he call yet? He didn't call yet, she says. He will, she says. She says, okay, I'm just waiting for his call, LOL. And Mama Russo says, I'm okay with Dom. I'm on with Dom. He said he tried to call. And Kenzie said, I got no call. Kenzie said, I've been waiting here. Kenzie says, tell him to call again. And Christine Russo says, it's an 870 number. She says, yeah, I didn't get any call like that. I'm really confused, she says. He's going to call me again, Kenzie says. Kenzie says, Dom just asked if you can bring How to Win Friends and Influence People, the book. Okay, Miss Russo said. Then she said, Dom hasn't called today yet. Let me know what happens after the visit. Kenzie says, I talked to him for a couple hours today. I'm here waiting right now. Then the mother says, okay, how much money is left on the phone? Kenzie says, how do I check? And then the mother says, it might only say on mine. It's fine. And Kenzie says, I just left. He seems to be doing a lot better. I'm coming to visit tomorrow at 7. The mother says, okay, cool. Then she says, where would that book be? Kenzie says, the stack of books by his bed. She says, Mama says it's not there. Kenzie says, I might come over and clean today so I can look. Then she says, it's on his nightstand. And she said, I just brought Rich Dad, Poor Dad, couldn't find it. Kenzie says, I'll look for it soon. Mama Russo says he thinks Chris has it. Kenzie says, okay. Oh, he might be right. He might. Then Ms. Russo says, you at the house? Kenzie says, am I allowed to come over? Yes, of course, Ms. Russo says. Kenzie says, okay, thanks. I'm going to come over in a little. So Dom comes home to a nice, clean room. Ms. Russo says, you're welcome whenever. Kenzie says, have you talked to Dom today? No, Mama says, I am going to leave and go see him soon. Kenzie says, let me know how it goes. Tell him to call. Ms. Russo says, I will. Ms. Russo says, he's fine. He was watching South Park. Kenzie says, oh, I'm glad that's on in there, LOL. And then he says, he said your visit, Ms. Russo said, he said your visit only 30 minutes, so get here like 10 minutes early. And then Ms. Russo said, is Blair working? And Kenzie said, let me ask him. And then Kenzie said, and I did come early last time. And then Ms. Russo said, dang, what a-holes. Kenzie says, I know. It made me so upset, but it's better than nothing. And Blair asked if Dom wanted to talk. And so then Christine says, so he's not working? Kenzie says, don't think so. Mama says, okay, he said he will call. Let's see what happened. Who got in here? Olivia McDonald, I'm thinking a mental facility. Oh, I think it's a jail, hun. I think it is. Why does Mrs. Kyle is rich? I don't know. Maybe that's how they refer to him. Aren't there two friends, Kyle? Rich Kyle. Maybe they say Rich Kyle and they call the other guy a different Kyle. I don't know. You can at a lot of them, but it takes days to get cleared. Okay. Okay. Oh, he said he will call. And Kenzie says, okay. And then Kenzie says, Blair just said he's leaving in 20 minutes, though. Ms. Russo says, to where? Kenzie says, work, I think. Ms. Russo says, okay, well, he probably can't talk to him. And Kenzie says, I don't know why Blair would tell me he can call. Rich Kyle want to call too. They've been asking me about Dom. And Mama says, "Why? When does Rich Kyle want him to call?" Just asked, he said. And then he can call me whenever too, Kenzie says. It is Jill, because you can see by the pictures it's Jill. Okay. And then she says, "Aw," Kenzie says, "Aw, loved an image. He looks so happy," Kenzie says. And Ms. Russo said, waiting on them to get him out, having been to pee and waiting 15 minutes. Waiting on them to get him out, having to pee and waiting 15 minutes. That's 6:14 p.m. on 10/12. He's been there, I think, 2 nights. Kenzie says, I'm going to come around 6:40, so hopefully they give me more time than 15 minutes. She says, oh, again on the pictures. It's really is cold AF in there too, Kenzie says. And Ms. Russo said, I just got in trouble for doing it. Taking pics, Kenzie asks. Yes. Kenzie said, I was going to sneak my phone in, but I don't know if I should. I'm about to leave right now to see him. No, don't, Miss Russo says. I won't, Kenzie says. If Dom calls you, can you tell him to call me? And then Kenzie said, no, Miss Russo says yes. Kenzie says, thanks. I'm on the phone with him now. Kenzie says, also, Dom said he might not call because he's watching football to pass the time. And then Kenzie said, also, tomorrow after my Polaris, can I come over and come with you to get Dom? Christine says, tell him I couldn't say love you because the cop was there. What? Tell him I couldn't say love you because the cop was there. What is the cop being there? Why can't she say love you? I don't know what that's about. And, because the cop was there. That doesn't make sense. Okay. And then Kenzie says, I will. He's going to call back in a little, I think. Then she says, let me know, this is Kenzie, when you're getting Dom. Can I come with? Ms. Russo says, sure, if I'm getting him. If he's done early, I might not make it. I'm not sure if his dad is going. I'll let you know. Thanks, Kenzie says. How's Dom? Any news? And she says, on the way right now. There are cops outside. Do you still want to come? How? He's in your neighbor's driveway. Oh, Kenzie says he's in your neighbor's driveway. Wait a second. Hold on a minute. Uh-oh, something happened. Let's see. Kenzie said, how's Dom? Any news? On the way right now. There are cops outside. Do you still want me to come? This is all Kenzie. He's in your neighbor's driveway. Did you mean to call? Ms. Russo says, no. Kenzie says, oh, okay. What time are we getting Dom? She says, working on it now. She says, okay. I'm still here with Toph. Okay, the mother says. Is everything chillin'? She says, I'm not there yet. And then, okay, Kenzie says. Lana just filed for a protection order. She's such an a-hole. The protection order, that's Ms. Russo. And then Lana must be somebody that would go out with Toph, I think. Because Kenzie says, yeah, Toph told me a second ago, you guys should get one on them. And then Ms. Russo says, thank God. And Kenzie said, is Dom home? Ms. Russo says, yes. Kenzie says, he's being so mean to me, Mrs. Russo. Is there a girl over or something? And then Ms. Russo said, no, he is sick. He played ball with the guys. I think he overdid it. I'd not allow a girl here. Shh. Kenzie says, oh no, I knew he hooped. I'm pretty sure he blocked me for some reason. And though, so I got worried, but thank you. What was that about? Ms. Russo said, I'll find out. Olivia, was she saying she was his lawyer, so couldn't say I love you? But they knew, they were known in that area. The Russos, didn't they know that was mother and son? I don't know. I'll find out, Ms. Russo said. And then Kenzie says, yeah, I don't know what I did to him. He's just being mean, but he unblocked me now. And now this is 11/9/2020. Hi, Mike. And then let's see. Ms. Russo says, Angie says he hasn't heard anything. And Mackenzie says, weird. He'll probably be normal again in the morning. LOL. Ms. Russo says, okay, good. Love ya. Kenzie says, love you too. Kenzie says, he's letting me over, so I'll see you guys soon. LOL. Ms. Russo says, where is Dom? Kenzie said, he's with me. He's coming home right now, though. Kenzie said, at my house. Ms. Russo said, as long as he is safe, I was worried. Kenzie says, he's all good. Ms. Russo says, thanks. And then, this is why I'm getting Dom. This is what I'm getting Dom, LOL, so we don't have to get the same thing again. And this is about Christmas, obviously. And Ms. Russo said, I think a large no. Kenzie says, oops, I'll ask again. I think he told me medium. She says, Ms. Russo says it may be a medium. Then Ken said, Toph is here, trying to get in. Ms. Russo said, what is he doing? And Kenzie said, Mrs. Russo, did Dom say anything to you? He's being really mean to me right now. And then Kenzie said, I don't even know what I did to him. Ms. Russo said, he said nothing. I'm sure he's just moody. And then Kenzie said, we all good now, and that was definitely it. Ms. Russo said, okay, good. Kenzie said, Nico shite on the floor and on the couch. We know it's him because it's on his tail. Christine said, Dom's not calling me about the dog. I'm worried sick. Mackenzie said, Dom's at home. He is with his friend. He isn't home. Miss Russo says, I don't know, he is not answering my texts. I don't know what the dog is doing or if he's still pooping. Can you call him? Kenzie says he texted me like 3 minutes ago. He's getting food with his friend. And she says, I last seen Nick in the bathroom. And Ms. Russo says, okay, thanks. Ms. Russo says, Dom does not answer me or respond. What time is Kyle's party? And Mackenzie says, Kyle's with us right now. And then Kenzie says, are you home, Ms. Russo? Ms. Russo says, yes. Kenzie says, Dom is saying he wants to hurt himself, and I'm worried I was going to come over and help, but he's telling me not to come over. And then Ms. Russo says, he is all right, and in brat mode, he hit his head on the wall. Kenzie says, at least he's okay. He's texting me about it and not letting me help him. But he seemed chill out kind of still mad though. And then the mother, Christine, says Dom's being mean to the cats. And Kenzie says, oh no, again? Ms. Russo said, yes, I can't take it. Kenzie said, I'm sorry, I think they messed up a pair of pants, but obviously that doesn't make it okay. And then Kenzie said, hopefully the cats are just scared of him by now and they'll stop coming near him. And the mother says it was a pinhole, that's it. And Kenzie says he made it seem like it was a huge hole to me. Wow. And Kenzie said, I'm sorry she's being like that. Topher, he probably chilled out. Ms. Russo says, I know, right? Ms. Russo said, you need to come here because I can't leave because Dom's not showered. A towel in Tom's throat. Oh, no, hold on a minute. Ms. Russo said, you need to come here because I can't leave because Dom shoved a towel in Tom's throat. OMG, said Mackenzie. What? And Kenzie says, what is wrong with her? Him. And the mother says, I know. And she says, nothing there. She said something. Can you call Dom? And then what do we have? On that number, Kenzie says. He's telling me to spam you. It's about his Spotify account. And Ms. Russo says, I don't know about it, and I told him to sign up for it. Kenzie says, are you home? Ms. Russo says, yes. Kenzie says, hey, is Dom home? Ms. Russo said, yes, sleeping. Kenzie sends a picture. Ms. Russo says, don't be mad. He was home all night alone with me and Scotty. And Kenzie says, I don't want to be mad at him, but he effed me over really bad last summer. And then Kenzie says, I was feeling all weird and having a lot of anxiety from withdrawal and then wanted to leave. And I just wanted to leave. My friends and I were begging him to get me, and he didn't get me. Then let's see. That's what she said there. Hang on. Kenzie says, I know it doesn't seem that bad, but it was really stressful. Then Christine Russo says, why didn't you call me? And he said he was coming, then your mom got you. He doesn't mean it. She says, I don't think you were awake. And yeah, I just had my mom come, but I didn't want her to know I was kind of effed up. Then Kenzie says, we are talking about it right now. Then Ms. Russo said, okay, love you. Love you too, Kenzie says. Then Kenzie says, Dom is texting me, being really crazy, so please keep an eye on him. I'm worried AF. I'm right here, Ms. Russo says. Kenzie says, I didn't mean to make him flip out, and I just can't take him yelling at me all night and all day. I'm sorry, Mrs. Russo, Kenzie says. Ms. Russo says, I know. You should have just hugged him. And Kenzie says, I just couldn't. He's been too mean. And I couldn't take it all. And I couldn't take it. All I did was try to help him. This is 1/31/2021. Ms. Russo said, he's out of control, hates Chris. I feel so bad. Kenzie says, yeah, I tell him all the time he just needs to get some more help, but he never listens. Me too, says Ms. Russo. Kenzie says he would be so much happier. Ms. Russo says, I'm going to take him to get his aluminum levels checked. I guess if you rid your body of them, it cures depression and that stuff calling Monday. She says, OMG, good. He really needs some. He needs some help. I try really hard to help him as much as I can, but most of the time it's not enough. Then Kenzie says, it really hurts me to see him like this, and he acts like I want him to feel this way. Then Kenzie says, do you remember washing a gray Nike jacket? And she says, Jordan jacket. Christine says, no, I may have one downstairs. Kenzie says, Dom found it. I'm going to come get it before I go to school. Ms. Russo says, where are you guys? I wanted to cook your food. Then Ms. Russo said, Dom, be mad at Dom. Don't be mad at Dom. He has been sick and did get you flowers and went to Kalahari. Men aren't as good at stuff like that. We are. You guys do a lot of stuff all the time. And then she said, did Dom come home? And Kenzie said, not yet. I'm about to leave and get ready, though, because one of my girls is having a birthday party today. And then she says, he is texting me, though. He should be home soon. She says, yep, I see it. And then she says, is everything all right? And the girl says, yep, we're all at the other house. Okay, I was worried, Miss Russo says. Did you eat chicken? And then Kenzie says, oh, happy birthday, by the way. And then Kenzie says, thank you. Then Ms. Russo said, we have your twists. Kenzie says, okay, coming. Happy birthday. Love you, Mama Russo. Mama Russo says, oh, how cute that baby is. And then Kenzie loved, oh, how cute that baby is. And Miss Russo asked, where is Dom? Happy Thanksgiving, babe. Kenzie says, oh, I don't know where Dom is. I'll text him. He texts me. It's fine, says Miss Russo. And then Christine says, happy Thanksgiving. Call me when you have a second, please. Miss Russo says, we have to rehome the pigs because they don't get enough attention. Do you want Babe? She says, I'm so sad. I don't want to give them away, but I know you love Babe. Hi, Mrs. Russo. I love you, and I hope you're feeling okay. Then she says, if you need any help with the animals, I will come and take care of any of them. Miss Russo says, thanks, babe. Love you too. And then Dom looks like the elf from the Santa Claus. And that's Kenzie texting. And the mother says, don't tell him. Kenzie doesn't say anything. Then she says, Mama says he's bossy like that elf too. And Kenzie says, LOL, I need to watch the movie now. I've never seen it. Oh, wow. Oh, I love it. It is great, Ms. Russo said. He just goes home. Avoid conflict. Please, you can call me. Then she says, I'm just waiting to talk to him. And Ms. Russo said, they just left. It's going to be a while. You should respect his space. While he's gone, you should come back later. That was Kenzie that said, I'm just waiting to talk to him. Then the mother said, I asked you to leave. You should have respect and left. Kenzie said, he's home now. Kenzie said, do you like gold or silver jewelry, Butter? Better. Mother said, doesn't matter. Let's see. What's the plan? Kenzie says. Ms. Russo says, I'm ordering both. I know, says Kenzie, but for hanging out at 6. Oops, Kenzie says. I don't know, Mama Russo says. Don't forget to check to see if I can come Wednesday. I won't, Kenzie says. We have customer service. Okay, can come in. You can come in. Wednesday through Friday. She says, Miss Russo says, coming Wednesday, put me on the schedule. And then over here, this is April 5th, 2022. Kenzie says, please don't be mad at me, but Mrs. Hassan is being weird about me having a client. I'm trying to talk to the principal about it because obviously she's picking on me. If you want, you can still come in and get your hair done by somebody else, but she's being really weird about me doing it. But my mom is pissed and trying to email the school. She says, you can go in and try to say you only want me to do your hair. And Ms. Russo says, I don't want to bother you. I don't have to come. But I'm not having someone else do my hair. That is not the point. And Kenzie says, you won't bother me. You should just come in and say you want me to do your hair so they can't tell you no. Okay, she says. Then Kenzie says, I'm trying to be really hard. My teacher is being really mean to me. And then Mama Russo says, I won't take her shite. Then Kenzie says, what do you think we should do? Miss Russo says, can I come there? They're not answering the phone. And then Kenzie says, they are not letting me have a client. You should go in. But it wouldn't be done by me. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Russo. They are so mean to me. Ms. Russo says, I'm not coming then. You don't think they'd say okay if I throw a stink? Kenzie says, my mom called the school and they are trying to say having a client is a privilege, which is literally not true. It's literally a part of the curriculum. And they said, I'm not allowed to have a client because of my grade, which is not even a bad grade at all. So they just really hate me and try to ruin my whole life. I really wish I could do your hair. I could try to do it from the house if you want. Mama Russo says, I have the stuff. I do it myself. I've been too weak. So Kenzie says, okay, perfect. Yeah, I could definitely get all my stuff from the school and come over and do it for you. And then she says, I have all the supplies, just not the color. I do have the developer, though. Ms. Russo says, I'm going to dye my hair tomorrow so I can do it myself, or you can help me. I'll help you, Kenzie says. Kenzie says, I have my whole kit. So I have brushes, a bowl, and styling stuff. Ms. Russo says, me too, or later we can do it. And then Kenzie says, whoever you want, just come back, help, just let me know. Ms. Russo said, you ready to put that show on? Should I come over? Kenzie says, okay, sec. We just got back and put in the crab because we needed butter. I have more butter, silly, Ms. Russo says. Kenzie says it was a special vegan butter. You can, and then Kenzie says, you can come over now if you want because we're home. And then she says, when you come, can you bring the Chardonnay? Ms. Russo says, okay, coming. Thanks again for doing the hair. And anytime, Kenzie says, anytime. Call me, Ms. Russo said. This is 4/14/2022. What's going on? Let me know when you guys get there. And then Kenzie says, are you still coming with us for Easter? Ms. Russo said, what time? And I have yours and Dom's Easter baskets. Let me ask, Kenzie says. 3:00. And then Dom says, if you guys want me to. Kenzie says, yes, I don't want to come in with us. Ms. Russo says, okay. Kenzie says, the thing is actually at 2. And then Ms. Russo says, we can take the rent-a-car. I'll go so long as we aren't there too long. I'm beat from yesterday. Come get your Easter basket. Then Kenzie says, Jim is literally waiting at Dom's door. He's so cute. And Ms. Russo said, LMAO. He's back here now. Then Ms. Russo said, I'm ready. Let me know before you go so I can warm the car up on my way home. I have to grab one thing from my office. Kenzie says, we will leave around 1:30. Dom is getting ready right now. Ms. Russo says, okay. Then she says, Kenzie says, me and Dom are on the way back. We'll be home around 9:30. Ms. Russo says, why so early? Kenzie says, not sure. Dom wanted to leave at 6 a.m. to get home at 9:30. Ms. Russo says, okay, I thought it would be 3:30. Okay, I'll be here, LMK. Let me know. Then Mr. Russo said, I get Dom's box. They left it on the porch. And then Kenzie said, he said, bet we're kind of in traffic right now, but we'll still be home around 9:30. Ms. Russo said, yeah, it's a Saturday. Everyone's heading home. A Sunday, excuse me. And then Mr. Russo says, are you up? Kenzie says, yes, what's up? Mr. Russo says, are with Dom. He has a hair appointment we both forgot about. And then Ms. Russo says he has to leave at 9:45. And he's not answering. Kenzie says, no, I'm not with him. Just got into a fight. I slept at my house. Oh, geese, she says. Then she put them in the ocean. Have you talked with him this morning? Let's see. She says, Kenzie says, no, I'm not talking to him. The last time he texted was 7:15 a.m. Hey, is Dom over there? Kenzie asks. He is not answering me. And let's see. He's pulled over. Don't call him. He just told me, Kenzie says, they harassed him. Ms. Russo said, did they let him go? Yeah, Kenzie says, no ticket too, I think, because they searched him. And then Ms. Russo said, found my earring under Nico. Thank God. Mackenzie said, I knew you would find it. And then she says, Ms. Russo says, thank you. Kenzie says, hey, Mrs. Russo, do you want to come with us when me and Dom take prom pictures? You can just carpool with us. Also, Dom told me to tell you the colors for the corsage, and I just want red and pink mixed together so it matches me and Dom's outfit. Ms. Russo said, okay, no problem, and yes. Kenzie says, okay, yeah. And then she says, we're going to go to the art museum, we think. And then on 5/16/2022, Kenzie says, do you want to come to my graduation ceremony at the high school? We have an extra ticket for you. Ms. Russo said, when is that? And sure. There's the ticket. And then we are here. Kenzie says, are you 100% coming to my graduation on Sunday? I need to know now because we saved a ticket for you. It's also totally fine if you can't make it. Mrs. Russo says, if you need it for someone else, you can use it. I won't be offended. I know how it is. No, I want you to come, Kenzie says. Okay, then. And Mackenzie says, how is Dom? Or are you guys coming back now? He told me he was not feeling good, and now he's not answering me. And Ms. Russo said, oh, geez, I didn't see that I was driving home. And then Kenzie says, send me that one picture you took a picture of. So cute, Kenzie said. Then Kenzie said, is there any way I could get Dom's mugshot? LOL. LOL. Ms. Russo said, I don't have the mugshot. Just the pic I took of him in jail. And then Kenzie says, is there any way I could get it somehow? I really want it. Okay, she really wants it. And Ms. Russo said, I don't know. And then she said, Ms. Russo said, come grab these blackberries before they start to get bad. Kenzie said, I'll grab them soon. Then she said, we're coming to get water. And then Ms. Russo said, don't fight, just take a leave a break. Okay, and then it's off there. So Kenzie says, I already left Dom, needs some therapy. He's so mean. He bought me this one outfit yesterday, and now he's saying he's going to take me to civil court. Mother said, don't worry about that. He caters to you. I think he needs some back. Kenzie says, I tried really hard to work everything out, but he is just being mean to me, and I don't know what to do, but now he's threatening my mom. This is 7/3/2022. This is days before the crash. Kenzie says, he didn't even text me. He texted my mom that he's taking her to civil court after she helped him. Ms. Russo said he's just blowing off steam. Kenzie said, I left him after he told me we should just talk later, and then he threatened my mom. So I think he's actually done with me this time. I don't know. I feel like we just read that somewhere. Ms. Russo said, well, you should have asked before ordering stuff. Now, I think there was something in the grand jury or something, right? I did, she says. He gave me the money to put on my card so I could buy it. I have the receipt. Quit bickering with him, Ms. Russo said. Then she said, Kenzie says, I came home to leave him alone and give him space to think, and he keeps texting my mom. She said, I told him not to. Okay. I think we gotta... We're almost there, so hold on. Just let me see what you say. Kenzie is glamorizing the mugshot. Even when it's hard and draining, Kenzie was defiant and could not say anything without her flipping out. Mike says Pepper in such a senseless and violent way. Val Ventura, how are you? She says, I think it would be pretty easy to be mean to you. Kenzie, Liza is right. I should have known that. Just Pepper, and it sure is Val. Alicia Nelson said, if it was me, I would tell her that she's barking up the wrong tree. I will always have my son's back first. Okay. I don't think there's many more, so I want to get through the ones with the mother. Okay, let's go. Forever in my heart. This is 7/6/2022. She's texting her website, Forever in My Heart. Said this. Found this online. See what you like. I'll spend the most on Nico, less on Jim. Oh, this is when the pets died. The pets died 7/6/2022. She said, I'll spend the most on Nico, less on Jim. Jim and Nico died. Kenzie said, I'll check it out. Do you know what stone you're looking for? And Kenzie said, I'm looking at the benches right now, but those are really expensive. The mother said, the cement art stone's at $700, but I think I like that for Nico, and the granite for Jim. I don't know if granite is the right material. They will do picks also, Ms. Russo said. Kenzie says, do you want to make crab and scallops tonight? Whatever you guys want to do. That's Mama Russo. And she said, I'm up for whatever. Kenzie says, okay, cool. Yeah, we could do that and watch a movie or something. Me and Dom are at Whole Foods now getting butter and stuff. Let's see. And then Ms. Russo said, okay, let's watch Dirt for the concert. It's next Thursday. Kenzie says, okay, let me find out what's it on, and we can watch that. And then Netflix, Mama Russo says, does Dom have an Amazon card? Everybody wants to know. And then they went through trying to set up an account. We used my mom's for Whole Foods. I don't know if he has a Prime, but he has an Amazon account, Kenzie says. And Mr. Russo said, are we watching that movie? And Kenzie says, we can watch whatever movie. Dom is about to be home, so we're going to start cooking whenever you're ready. Ms. Russo says, I'm home in 5. That's fine. Kenzie says, yes, you can come over here whenever. And let's see. The deer are eating the pumpkins, Kenzie says. And Ms. Russo says, I know they ate the one that was actually growing. And then Kenzie says, I'm so sad. I hope they still grow. Ms. Russo said, me too, but not sure how far they will get. Kenzie says, what time are we leaving? I'm going to go home and get ready right now. This is 7:14. This is like 2 weeks before the crash. And Ms. Russo said, we want to start partying at noon. Is that tank okay? The one I have to wear is too big too. And Kenzie said, I haven't tried it on yet. It will probably be fine. Kenzie says, when do you want us to come over? I just got to Dom's. And then Kenzie said, can you come get Dom? He just grabbed my steering wheel on the highway and he tried to spin out my car and hurt me. 7:14. I'm scared to drive because it's raining, so I just need him to get picked up, Kenzie says. Kenzie says, if he doesn't get out of my car, I'm calling my dad. So please tell him to get out. Christine Russo says, Hench is on his way. Calm down for now, please. Please. Kenzie says, to be honest, I can't calm down when he just tried to end my life. And Kenzie said, and then he lied to you about it. Ms. Russo said, I'm just trying to diffuse for now. I'm not mad at anyone. Kenzie says, I don't think he's capable of that when he keeps telling me to shut up and to duct tape my mouth. I do not feel safe, Kenzie says. Kenzie says he's also threatening to blackmail me to my mom. And then she says he's not getting out. Kenzie says he also blocked me, so I can't go pick up any of my belongings at his house. Kenzie says, I hope this is a learning experience for him on what not to do to women, because I really don't think he knows how to treat them at all. Ms. Russo says, stop the fighting and stop lying. When he gets his things, you can get yours. Kenzie says, first of all, I am not lying about anything. Maybe you shouldn't take his words so seriously. You don't know how he treats me behind closed doors. And then Kenzie says it's never okay to try to end somebody's life. Or put their hands on people, Kenzie says. And Miss Russo says no one should touch anyone. No fighting for sure in the car. And then Miss Russo said he never put his hands on you. And then Kenzie said, you need to tell him that. He tried to end my life today and told me, do you want to die? And then Kenzie said, I almost hit the wall and I could have died. And Ms. Russo said, and you haven't blackmailed him with the cops 100 times? Kenzie said, LOL, clearly you don't care about this situation. I should have known you would have taken his side. Kenzie says he could have literally killed me, and you would still believe him over me. Both of my purses need to be outside within 10 minutes because I'm coming to get them. Then she said, My dad is coming to get my purses. 7:17. And Mr. Russo said, I'm not arguing. Kenzie said, as long as you're defending his actions, he's never going to learn that he's wrong. Okay. That part is done. That's all before the accident. We'll get to her text after the accident. But you guys, I am falling asleep. I literally am. So I'm going to do the word game, and then I'm going to go to bed. And tomorrow's another day. And there's a lot to go over on this case. A lot. Val Ventura said, I can't believe she expects Dom's mother to coddle her. Oh, she expects everyone to coddle her. She needs warm milk. I just can't get the warm milk thing, right? Oh my gosh, warm milk. That just doesn't fit Kenzie, does it? Warm milk? That's crazy. You're welcome, Lysanne. Thank you. Warm milk. That just seems so crazy. You guys can't go anywhere. You have to help with this word puzzle before we go to bed, okay? It'll all make you feel better, and you won't go to bed with that on your mind. Let's see, pay. What do we have? Act. Right. Cap. Act. There's got to be another. Wait a minute. C-A. There's no, it can't be. It's got to be an A word. What am I missing? Oh, it's APT. Apt. What do you have? Patch? Patch. Very good. And patchy. And patchy. Apache. Very good. Chap I tried. I got it up there. Patch and patchy. Good. Just pepper. Decompressing with the word game. Yeah. We're almost done too. Patch. Hatch. Do we do? No, we can't do hatch. Hey, though. Hey. You're a rock star. We got it already. Oh, path, right? There we go. Eliza, good night, Eliza. Kathy, yeah, but I don't think it doesn't have names like that. Let's see. Yap. Pay, we got one more 3-letter word. Oh, how about, let me see. One more 3-letter word. Tap. Here we go. We got that. Tap. And what'd you get? Hi, Petunia. Okay, we're up to, we need a 4-letter word and a 5-letter word, and we're done. 4 letters and 5 letters, and we're done. Let's see. I did path, right? I did path. Let me see. Chat. Where's our... Okay, question for everyone. Go ahead. Tell us, Mike. What's the question? Good night, just Pepper. I need puzzle practice. Maybe next live. Okay. Let me mix them up. What do you need? We need a hint. Let's get a hint. Let's turn over. That's a P. We knew that was going to be a P, didn't you? Okay. So P, it's got to be PA. Has to be. PA. Packed. See? Packed. We got it. Oh, and you had it, Heartmaid. Why is I didn't see it? Where'd you go? Yacht. Oh, wait a minute. Very good, Alicia. Good. See, we did it. We only needed one little hint. Okay. Okay, what's your question, Mike, before we go? What's your question? Mike said he has a question for us. Mike, what's the question before we go? And for everybody else, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you very, very much. And Mike, we're waiting. This kind of, let's see, Mike's talking to us. Let's see what Mike wants. Mike says, oh, thank you, Abuelita, and thank you for your super chat. I appreciate it. Let me see. Mike says, this kind of give an idea of everyone's age, sort of, LOL. Okay, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, ask us. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike. Go on ahead. Mike wants to get an idea of our ages. Okay, Mike. Ask away, Mike. Has anybody here ever seen Vanilla Sky? That is the Vanilla Sky. Is that the movie with Tom Cruise? And, you know, I think I saw parts of that. I don't even know that I ever watched that movie the whole way through. Vanilla Sky. Tell me about that, Mike. Why do you mention that? Do you think it has parallels to this case or something? I don't even remember what it's about. Oh, yeah, and Cameron Diaz? Okay, but I don't even remember what it was about. Does anybody remember what it was about? Can you clue me in? I need the cliff notes for a little bit because I have a lot of things in my head lately. So I don't even know, Alicia, like what it was about. I might have seen a little bit of it. I don't even know. Mike says, if so, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, Mike, you can't leave us like that, guy. Just tell us. Somebody just give us. Come on. Peace, love, and light to all. No, I can't be left like that, Mike. What is Vanilla Sky about? Tell me, tell me. Come on. Hi, Liza, you're back. It's a trippy movie. Mike, can you explain, please? Because I think I've seen part of it, but I don't really remember it. Come on. Don't be shy. You can say, come on, we've talked about a lot of things here. Heart has seen it. Heart has seen it. Heart, I have that book here you want. That book, remember that book I told you about? We were talking about that author, remember? Okay, Mike, come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. Show me what it is. Abuelitas. Back in the thing. Mike. Got my curiosity. Carolyn. Mike, oh, yeah, me too, Liza. I want to know what it's about. Mike, just tell us. Penelope Cruz. Okay. I remember, I think I saw part of it. I just remember a blue sky or something. I don't know. Don't leave us hanging, Alicia says. Come on, tell us, Mike. Come on. Don't be shy. What could it be so bad that you can't tell us? Come on. Just do it like charades, okay? You don't have to say the real thing. You can beat around the bush and we'll guess. Come on, Mike. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. Okay, for all who haven't, just go on YouTube. No, you can't do that to us. I think I do remember something about that. Hey, I've got a better question. Well, I'll look it up. But what are you saying about it, Mike? Do you say that it's like this? I don't know. But I have a question for you guys, okay? That whole Netflix debacle, they said it was a movie called The Crash. Has anybody seen a documentary called The Crash on Netflix about this case? Okay, answer now. And tell us about it, Mike. Come on. Tell us what you're saying it about. Tell us. Mike, tell us. Not you. See, that's what's so weird. Maybe it hasn't come out yet because they said it was 2024. Alicia cannot stand Tom Cruise. Don't talk to her about Tom Cruise. She can't stand him. I did see The Crash, Petunia said. Just Pepper said I may have. I believe so. You did see it, Petunia? Because I went to look for it in Netflix and I didn't see it. Petunia, it was the one about... No, but there is one on HBO Plus. Yeah, that I've seen, Alicia, but it said it was called The Crash. Cameron Diaz's character gets really crazy when she finds out that she was just a plaything to Tom Cruise's character and scares him to death trying to crash a car they are in while confronting him. Oh, got you, Heart May Wise. I got you. How long ago was it out? Petunia, The Crash? Well, in that thing they sent me today, it said 2024. But there is another movie called The Crash that is not about this case at all. And then remember that other movie, Crash? You remember that other movie, Crash, that came out like in, oh my gosh, 2000? Remember that one where all of those stories ran together? It had Sandra Bullock in it. It had, can't think of the other people it had in it. Remember that, Crash? Remember that movie and everything that kind of tied together? Remember that one? It also had, I think, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Tell me a story just about Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith. Cameron goes crazy and she crashes her car to kill Tom Cruise. Oh, I get it. I may be thinking of the other video. Yeah, I don't think it came out yet because I don't... That's awesome, Crash. That movie, the movie Crash was good. It was very good. I saw it in the movie theater way back when with, I believe it was my daughter Alexandra and my son Michael. Surprised Kenzie didn't say again that Dom grabbed the wheel when she crashed. She tried to say something like that. I think she said something like that in one of the jail calls. I think she did try to go there. No, wait a minute. No, that wasn't the jail call. She was trying to say that about the 2 weeks before. Sorry about that. She said she blacked out and didn't remember this one at all. Google away, my friends. Okay, Mike, we will. Everyone have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Be good. All right, everybody, take care. I'll put the other volume of phone calls. It'll be volume 6 out tomorrow. And everybody have a good night. Sweet dreams. Love you. God bless. Prayers for all you need. We all need it. Prayers for whatever we need. And take care. Love and light.